And let's see, I'm going to export it to the same folder where the original animations are. And of course in the drop down select Valve SMD, bitches. I'm going to name it something different as a reference file so that I can keep the original. Now in the exporter box here, it's very simple. When you're using a reference model like this, you're going to select a reference, no shit. Flip all normals. You only use that like if you wanted to mirror the gun over from the right side to the left side for whatever reason. Then you would select flip all normals, but we haven't, so fuck it. Use material name. Don't know what that fucking does, but it's never been useful to me. Just click export, and when it's done it should say exported. Voila. Alright, now we're down to the compiling. I always use a batch file to compile, and this is a batch file that you use. You just double click it and then it should hopefully export the frickin' model the right way. But let me tell you, the way you'll make a batch file in the first place is you create a new text document, right? Doesn't matter what you name it. And you'll need to put very specific information in here. All of this crap. Let me try to break it down for you. First line up here would be the path to Studio MDL that you're using. And yours will be pretty much, should be the same way. The only thing you'll change is this right here. It's your Steam username. And of course, Studio MDL will only work if it actually exists. And for it to exist, you'll have to download Source SDK and run it at least once. So remember that. Okay. Second line here, you put -game, and then in parentheses the path to the game you want to compile for. In this case, it would be, you know, Steam, CMapps, username, Counter-Strike Source, C-Strike. Your program files may not have the x86, you know, you just gotta check. Third line here is the name of your QC. Unless you've renamed that QC yourself, it's going to be MDL decompiler. And then final line here is pause. That's just there to ensure that the batch running process doesn't automatically close on the end, so you can actually see if there are any errors and stuff. But yeah, they all need to be together like this in the end, at least I think. Oh yeah, and to save it as a batch file, save as, and the extensions, all files, and you can name it whatever the crap you want. Make sure that you put .bat on the end of it. And, well, it'll save as a frickin' batch file. You can see that, whatever the .bat, right there. You double click it, and God willing, it'll start to compile. See, there you go. And it'll go through all that crap, and give you any error messages if something goes wrong. And there you frickin' go. Okay, let's see. I got one of these old fucks up here too. Might take a while depending on what is compiling, but it should say completed. Then you can just get the fuck out of there. Now, to make sure it's working right, you would open up Source SDK. To make sure it's working right, you would open up Source SDK. And then go into, well, first make sure engine version is Source 2009, it's in current game Counter-Strike Source. Don't know what the fuck kind of accent that is, but hey, go into Model Viewer nonetheless. In West Liberty City, born and raised. Okay, File, Load Model. And shit. Keep forgetting where the weapons path is. Most of the time, just be in Models Weapons. Fuck off. And it would be called I can't fucking look. Oh, there it is. Be pissed deagle. I know my deagle would be pissed in this situation. Ah, I know that's a terrible joke. Oh, well, you know something? first off, this thing, if you go into view model mode, this right here is what you're supposed to be seeing in first person when you go in game. But as you can see, if you zoom back, it needs to be rotated. So in the QC, by the way, I'm using Notepad++ and highly recommend that. I love it. And if it needs to be rotated, what you do is go here right before the FPS line of okay, I'll try this again. Go to the first sequence line that you find, go right before FPS and put rotate -90, and then you put that right before FPS in each of the sequence lines, and that should do the trick for you. However, I also forgot to change the reference model here, and the third line here, which is called model, the second thing in parentheses is the reference SMD that it's using to compile by. You can see that right now it's using the original SMD, the one that it had before. We want to make it use our new one, so our new one is just called 1911.smd. There we freaking go. And by the way, you can delete the CD line if you're compiling from the same folder. It's absolutely not needed. Oh yeah, and one last thing I almost forgot. You got to change the materials line. No, let's see. Model. Go to the model folder, and I'll simply copy the materials lines from the model QC to the anim QC over here. And that should do the fucking trick. Now I can recompile this. Oh, wait. Oh god, excuse me. I can recompile this son of a bitch with the whatever the crap you want to have dot bat. This tutorial is no longer very long. No longer very long. What the fuck am I saying? This tutorial is no doubt very long, but I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. So there we go. Look, it's been correctly rotated. It's got correct materials. Look at that shit. It's beautiful. It is no doubt imperfect, but my god, you get the basic principle, I hope. Okay, I'm sure this has some bugs, but yes. There we go. End of fucking tutorial. I hope